Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And this is going to be Star Citizen Live in about 10.5 minutes. Really, I mean, for the recap, you don't need a whole lot more than that. It was a very cool episode. I really liked it, and some of you artists out there may really enjoy it as well. This was starring Jeremiah Lee. He's been on a bunch of times, and he and Jared have a good relationship, let's put it that way. So Jeremiah quite frequently features Jared in some of his artwork with some photoshopping and whatnot. And of course Jared got a little bit of revenge this time by taking the camera off of Jeremiah while he was talking, which is kind of funny. And he does some stuff later on in the video that was pretty funny as well. As you can see, Jared's face is all over these different forms of cowboys. If you didn't know, this whole episode is all about Space Cowboys. Something that I've actually been looking forward to for quite some time. You know, I'm a Texan, and my org is Texas. You know, we're gonna have some cowboy stuff involved, right? Now, interesting enough, I asked this question on, I think it was an AMA or a Calling All Devs sometime back. I believe it might have been a Star Citizen Live, actually. It wasn't called that back then. This was probably 4 years ago that I asked a question that got answered live on video, and it was something to the effects are we going to have cowboy hats or some sort of helmets that are kind of like that in the game, or is that possible to get that in game? And they laughed at me. They pretty much laughed at me. Yeah, they said, no, we're not doing that. That's pretty much the answer they gave me. I wish I could remember exactly which episode that was. I'd go back and, clip it in for you. But yeah, they pretty much laughed at me and said that there's no chance that's happening. And now, what do you see? Star Citizen Live, game dev, CU Space Cowboy. The whole theme is a Space Cowboy. They're making a Space Cowboy, or at least an outfit for a Space Cowboy. Now, will this actually make it into the game? I don't know. I liked a couple different versions that they had. I kind of wish they would have fleshed out a little bit more on a couple others, but that's okay. So what they did is they took popular cowboys or cowboy types from history, and they decided they would try to mush them together into one concept art or another. So they took the American cowboy, which everybody knows. Then they took a Mexican version of the cowboy, which is kind of like the Spanish version of vaquero, but they called it something different. It was a little fancier looking with a sombrero and like a little tie. Yeah. And then they have the Middle Eastern version of a cowboy, which they're kind of working on here as I talk. A little bit different. And then they also had the Hungarian cowboy that they were discussing. Now, here's where I kind of disagree with Jeremiah Lee's take on this. They wanted to mush all these different cultures of cowboys together. I understand that several cultures have a version of a cowboy. Which one is most iconic when you hear the word cowboy? Whether you're an American, you're European, you're Australian, which version, and tell me in the comments, which version do you think is more iconic? Which one when they say cowboy, what do you think of? Do you think like, American Westerns, Clint Eastwood? Or do you think the Spanish vaquero? Or do you think the Hungarian cowboy or the Middle Eastern cowboy? Which one do you think about whenever they say cowboy? And my point is, most of you, probably 9 out of 10 of you, are going to think of the American cowboy as the cowboy that you envision whenever somebody mentions the word cowboy. At least that's what I think, and I could be completely wrong and completely biased. So let me know in the comments down below if, what cowboy do you think of whenever the word cowboy is said? Do you think of the American cowboy? Do you think of a different kind of a cowboy? Let me know, please, because I'm interested to know what you guys actually think. And so my thing is against Jeremiah Lee is that I think, and again, I could be completely biased here, that the American cowboy is the one that most people think of. Therefore, I think that culture would probably be the one that most likely transferred on into the future. I mean, it's lasted. It came from the Spanish vaquero in the Mexican cowboy, and it's lasted, 400 or 500 years. So, in another 1,000 years, what's it going to look like? I mean, I think cowboy hat's still going to be around in some form or fashion, but I do kind of like Jared's idea of a little more techno involvement, more of almost a space punky kind of idea behind it. I do think that the cowboy would have a backpack nowadays. And one of the things that's definitely missing is that belt with the 6-shooter, which he's got a gun in one of the guy's hands, but you definitely need that. Yeah, definitely. Jeremiah did say he would love to continue working on this off the air. He wanted more than an hour to work on it because he was starting to like it. And honestly, even the Middle Eastern version there on the left does not look bad to me. I mean, of course, this is just a silhouette. It's not real detailed. He will work on some of the details, but yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility for a future, I don't know, subscriber flare or something you can buy in the game. And don't you know that most of my org would probably be buying cowboy hats? They want to fit the theme, so to speak. Like I said, I think it's cool that they're actually working on something like this, even if it doesn't make it in the game. But knowing Jeremiah Lee's past, he has gotten a few of these in, such as the current subscriber flare, which is the former Imperial military dress uniforms. Those were worked on in a game dev Star Citizen Live hour-long thing, and they made it into the game. Of course, they fixed it up a little bit and make it a little nicer. But yeah, I mean, who's to say that Jeremiah Lee won't get this in the game if he does a really, really nice version of it? I really hope so. I'm petitioning for it. How many of you are going to petition for some sort of, at least cowboy hat, boots, maybe, or maybe a sirapa or a poncho, something like that? I think all those would actually be pretty cool, and I really think it'd be cool to be able to wear armor underneath your poncho or serape. That would be great for like a light armor set or something, maybe. That would be really cool. But it's got to be able to withstand a blast directly to the chest. I mean, yeah, right? Clint Eastwood style? Anyways, I really like this idea. What do you guys think about it? With this comes to mind, with the cowboy idea, what other iconic, I guess, cultural icon type outfits would you like to see possibly worked on for the game? I mean, there's all sorts of different ones out there, obviously, but what one would you think or would be a good transition into the game exactly? I mean, do you want to see a mongrel type outfit? Do you want to see a Roman legionnaire type outfit? But what would you like to see them work on a similar type thing in the game? What would make sense to you? And maybe go into a little description of what you envision. That could be cool. And maybe if one of the devs is actually watching this video, maybe they'll pick up a good idea and we'll have something new in the game and you'll be somewhat credited for it, at least initially. That would be really neat. But again, I really like this cowboy idea. I think the one he's working on now could use a little work. I don't like that open vest type look. If it was a duster, maybe, but I'm not sure I like that exactly. I mean, I could see some local farmers maybe wearing that, but I would like to see something, either a duster or it completely go over. I don't know. Again, something I'd have to see the full makeup for in the game. That would be pretty cool. So once again, guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank my Patreon and YouTube members. You guys are so awesome. You really are. I can't thank you enough. And if anybody else wants to get involved with those two groups, you can do that in the description down below in this video. I would really appreciate you guys for helping me out. You don't even have an idea how much it really helps me out. Thank you. Then also, if you want to contribute to the channel, you can also watch the ads all the way through. Click on the ads. That will bring revenue into the channel as well. So thank you once again, guys, for tuning in and watching my video. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed before. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.